Hi, this is Mark. So it's something on my mind lately. It's about how to manage um, stress and try to become more content with life in general. Because we define success a lot of times based on our position relative to society as a whole. Society has to progress or tends in the positive direction or progresses, it expands. And we have a reward feedback system that kind of is in tune with the progression. And it's almost as if it has such an influential effect, but it also creates a host of stressors or a lot of havoc. And that's why meditation has become a prominent source of uh, restfulness, or just a way to escape the negativities of this world, which is inevitable and a positive thing. Actually, we need negative to convert into positive energy. You need to fall before you can climb, and so forth. But when we are bombarded, it can kind of pull us in a continuous negative feedback loop, and that becomes a problem. But yeah, I was thinking about just a way to escape that. It's escape the forces that kind of pull. It's like gravity pulling you down. I think it's analogous to that. And the forces have to do with all these external factors that come into play. How we compare and contrast ourselves relative to others, or if where we what how high our expectation is on a relative scale. Um, because success, if we define it based on the positioning and it's a proportional to our expectation, uh, it then follows if expectations become too high, our perception of success is diminished. And success comes in many shapes and forms. I could view success uh, as a progression in a positive direction. So, like getting out of bed is success to me. Breathing is success. Living, just living life. It's a continuum. It's a continuous process. It exists on the continuum. And really, the simple things should be laughing at the simple things or enjoying the simple aspects of life. Kind of brings enjoyment or happiness. Releasing and liberating from the fear or the containments, or like I mentioned before, the forces that can really wreak havoc on our system. A way to escape that is we have to banish the imprisonment. We have to stop uh, trying to restrict our action and living in fear or repression, or too much, uh, or having or conforming too much to a situation because we desire something so large or possibly unattainable. Even though it's always good to pursue goals, but when when it becomes like a race, or it just becomes uh, it starts revving up our nervous system to such a high degree with adrenaline and all these stress hormones, that causes a lot of long-term problems. And our attachment to society, our attachment to these uh, objective quantities that we create, uh, that aren't don't even exist, such as like normality does not exist. Um, Concept of, how would I put it? Because normality is just a relative construct. It's something that we again we could use to compare and contrast, which is not. It can be, we can use it as fuel or leverage, but when it's used uh, in a negative direction, such as jealousy or um, negativity, irritability, paranoia. Anytime you go in a negative direction, you're reducing the probability of fulfillment, um, success, because success starts with the mindset. It's through contentment. Be how content we are with our progression, how content we are with the what lies behind. Um, if we shouldn't have regrets because ultimately the past is a past. It, there's no, if we do take it as a regret and we allow it to drag us down, well, it's going to create a new possibility for failure increases, which generates a new regret, and we get in this continuous loop of living in the past. So I find to liberate that, you got to kind of detach from external influence, detach from, just be free and liberate yourself and be creative, be even expressive, not care about what people think of you, not, because that just creates restrictment. It restricts the mobility, it restricts the mind, the consciousness. Consciousness, if we were to live solely on our own, exclude everything else, and just internalize everything, consciousness is actually going to collapse or to a minimized set, because consciousness is proportional to energy and whatever energy feeds us. And living in containment and restriction is not the direction to go. And you have to be freed from. You can think of like captivity, or freed from the uh, influence of negativity, because negativity is inevitable. Globalization has created this problem with regards to, um, well, one, the political divide, and second, um, we have more widespread negativity because of the mode of transport, or the ability to transmit information has been extended over a larger, um, more pathways, or a larger region, and we're exposed to it on a daily basis, or more frequent than ever before. And this is natural. I think with a progressive society, there's always going to be that competition, that drive to excel. Some will try to strive for power, and try to. It's like a game of survival, but at the same time, it's interesting because if you go back and proceed, even in previous times, it's been success. Has people were content with just marginal activity relative to what we have today. We are bombarded. We have access to so many things to feed our mind, so many things to feed the reward system, and that's creating like kind of like a short circuit. It's allowing, almost restricting the feedback that we receive. It's being dampened in a way because, um, just like any addiction, you build tolerance. We build tolerance to the reward feedback that is received on a given basis. We acclimate, we adapt to it, and therefore we're going to need more and more and more to satisfy the demands that we, and I guess that's what leverages us, or creates the leverage to pursue something greater, to pursue something that is more complex, because we are going in a complex direction, but also at the same time, you know, we're moving at such a fast rate, much faster rate than ever before, because the rate of change has been increased. The rate of change is so large. The technological boom that took place has facilitated this process, and ultimately because of that, and with I like to think of it like a cycle. With any cycle, there's a lag period. So with the technological boom, which was, the rate of change was much faster even than we currently the current development. It rapidly increased from the baby or during the baby boom, and then it kind of started to stabilize a little bit more. But there was a lag period where, now, so we're oversaturated with such information overload that it's causing the the same cycle, or the same rate to same cycle to occur within our neurotransmitter network, or our feedback system. And I think that's, anytime you go at too fast of a rate to adapt, it kind of creates strain. It creates strain, stress. Of course, we're taking on larger loads, and we now witness the success, all these success, uh, what we quote unquote success stories, but you can define success differently. It's not tied to just salary or financial security or fame, or status. It's or there's even success is provided at every moment, but it's just how you take it. It's where the mindset is that dictates the value driven, the value that is derived from the outputs. Um, if the expectation is large, the derivation is going to be marginal, and it's going to be in proportion to the distance traveled, in proportion to you can't make it in proportion to the result. You can't just define success based on the end product, and that kind of sabotages um, everything, because it's a process. Reward should be continuous, um, and I think it should be. It's like it's. I think of it, yeah, like a journey. But I think with life in general, to yield, I think it's important to just try to engage, do as much as possible, read, write, travel. Um, you can occasionally um, do something for society, make a difference, be creative, laugh at yourself. Um, life is short. No need to uh, no need to strain over how we are perceived, and and restrict behavior just because you think you're going to be judged in some forum. Um, that just creates that extra stress. And if you're afraid of saying something, always afraid of being deemed as, uh, or how I would put it, if you're always um, aligning your success with basically how you influence others, it's going to cause a lot of issues. It's because it's very localized, and you derive mainly. I think happiness is an internalization process rather than derivation from all the external factors um, that we attribute it to. It's just it starts by the transformation of the mindset, and I think that can help liberate, or allow us to be um, free in a sense, or not so restricted and influenced. Like the social media in general causes society to sway in one direction or another. It can they promote fear and so forth, and promote false advertisement, or a lot of false claims are out there. And this is the inevitable reality. We can't control it, but maybe to a marginal degree. But it's something we live with, and I think if we let it affect you in the negative direction, it's just going to equate to future strain. And uh, and yeah, that's just how my take on things. I battled depression at times. It's just the rise and the fall. The rhythm that we everyone experiences. It's just part of life. And I guess I've learned that so many people have worse conditions. in this world much worse. Some even live for a very small fraction of the subset of the life that we live, and don't even live to tell stories. So I think even that's a success. It's just to live. But yeah, anyways, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.